Hello everybody and welcome to the United Stand. Manchester United 2, Spurs 0. Of course, we'll talk about Ronaldo going down the tunnel. But before we talk about Ronaldo going down the tunnel, let's talk about Spurs going down the toilet. Because Manchester United flushed a big turd away today. And it was the Spurs performance. Manchester United were fantastic. And I think before we talk about anything else, about other things that probably do need to be discussed, I think it would be remiss, wrong and downright unfair to not start off with the biggest winner of today. And you can do your player ratings, mark every player out of 10, 6 being the average. But I just want to give Erik ten Hag a big shout out. This is the manager that I wanted to come to Manchester United. He's methodical, he's stern, and he's a guy that wants to play good football. And we saw all those things in action today. But I think we've all got to take a bit of we've got to eat some pie, and there is a word for the pie that we've got to eat, and I can't remember what it is, but it's something like we've got to take our medicine, basically, because I will admit it, maybe some of you won't admit it, even though I saw you all do it. I saw everyone on social media do it. I saw a lot of experts do it. When the team news came out today, a lot of people said, why is Fred starting? He was rubbish at the weekend. He doesn't deserve to play for Manchester United today. Why is Fred starting? And Fred was one of the man of the match contenders. So most of us misread that. Erik ten Hag got it right. I don't feel bad for saying what I said. Erik ten Hag is the manager of this football club. He trains these players and he knows how he wants to play and he has to have a game plan. He is the manager. He is the one that gets the criticism when he's naive against Newcastle and doesn't make any changes. But then he is the one who gets the major credit tonight because the way he utilised Fred, Eriksen wasn't fit enough to start the game. And there's absolutely no way in a million years that Scott McTominay could do what Fred did today. And I'm not dismissing Scott McTominay's attributes, but Fred's monster press, as people call it, his ability to hunt down high up the pitch, there's not many people who can do that. So Erik ten Hag deserves massive credit today because, and I don't feel bad about it. I don't feel bad about it. I don't think Fred did deserve to start today. I thought he was atrocious at the weekend. But Erik ten Hag was right to start him. And I would go as far as to say, if Fred hadn't played today, I don't know whether we win that game as comfortably as we did. So ten Hag got that right. I also thought as well, I thought the way Spurs lined up with the 5-3-2, they might dominate the midfield and they might be able to hurt us with two up front. It was a formation mismatch and it was always going to be a battle of whose formation came out on top. Well, if you've just watched that game, there's only one formation came out on top and it was ours. We absolutely devoured them. It was domination. It was absolute domination. I don't think we should have won 4 or 5-0, but I think 3-0 would have been a fair result for us. But we'll take 2-0. And look, I'm not going to get too carried away, but there's so many good performances from Manchester United. That is definitely Erik ten Hag's best visual performance as a Manchester United manager. I thought we were impressive against Arsenal and Liverpool at Old Trafford. I enjoyed the Everton result. I actually think the Everton result away was better than Liverpool and Arsenal because we controlled that game and we controlled this game. So they're my two favourite performances, Everton away and now Spurs at home, because we controlled the game and we visibly had a way of playing and the passing was good and the intensity was good. And I just want to say as well, I think we're going to get lost in who was man of the match. Was it Fred? Was it Anthony? Was it Casemiro? Maybe even Bruno? But I do just want to say, every good Manchester United performance this season has been based upon a strong defence. We've not conceded for 2 games in a row now. We've conceded 1 goal in our last 3 Premier League games since the Manchester derby. These are the headlines that people won't talk about because we've just won the game playing really good football. But 1 goal in 3 games conceded, that defence, goalkeeper, back 4, Casemiro in front of it, that's the change. That's been the big change. We are so solid at the back. And I didn't think we'd play as well as we did today, but I did think we'd win the game 1-0 based on the defence that we've got. We very rarely look in trouble. The only team that's really hurt us this season, post the Brighton-Brentford thing, which I don't even acknowledge, was Man City. I think we're so good defensively, and I think the defence deserves a lot of praise as well. Let's get into your chats. We criticised the ref against Newcastle, and rightfully so, but let's be fair and praise a phenomenal referee. Rodeo, I will praise the referee. I don't know what his name is, and that for me means he's had a good performance. I don't know his name. I don't want to know his name, but whoever his name is, well done. Casemiro, Bruno and Varane were world class tonight, says Florrie. Shout out to Bruno today, a proper number 10 performance, and oh my God, so refreshing to have Casemiro, says FIFA Crazy. Ridiculous blaming the Glazers, Mark. Ronaldo was completely disrespected the club. That made him grow up, says Jay. And best complete performance by United under Ten Hag. Ironic how Casemiro is exactly what we needed. Hope this marks a turn in the corner, says International. De Gea quietly had a great game, fantastic distribution. I thought De Gea was... You know what? I just want to say this as well. Lovely bit of squirrel. I just want to acknowledge you on this one. David De Gea didn't make a world-class save today, but I think he had a world-class performance. And I think everybody who's criticised De Gea needs to take a bit of their own medicine. But also, I think we, as David De Gea backers, need to acknowledge what they're saying as well. Normally, David De Gea's world-class performance would be making 4 or 5 world-class saves. He made no world-class saves today. He made a couple of good saves, but they weren't world-class. But he had a brilliant performance because he showed today why it's important to be a modern goalkeeper. It's not just about saving. It's about starting attacks. It's about being quick off your line. His passing, short and long, today was on point, just like it was against Everton. So, big shout-out to him. Bruno is back. How are you, Mark? Says DJ. Mate, I'm not having any of this back talk. I mean, I can't tell how people to support Manchester United, but I'm not going to say United are going to back. I'm not going to say that Bruno's back or Fred's back or anything like that, because I and many others have wasted their time with this team too many times. You can't tell me we're not going to get smashed by Chelsea 4-0 on Saturday. United are back when they're consistently putting themselves in the driving seat to win trophies, and we are nowhere near that. That is a glimpse tonight of what we can do, but 3 days before we saw a glimpse of what we can do as well. So look, I ain't getting carried away. I've always said this season's going to be a roller coaster of ups and downs, and I still think it is. But God, am I going into that game on Chelsea on Saturday against Chelsea thinking, if we can replicate that and get a result at Stamford Bridge. We've beat Chelsea away. We've beat Spurs, Arsenal, Newcastle at home. We've got to be getting the top 4 position. So, look, Saturday becomes a massive game because that performance allows it. Mark, we're in a top 4 race, says Mohammed. Another person running away with it. Man of the match, Eric Ten Hag, says Rory. I understand Ronaldo is a legend of the club, but that is disgraceful, says Sumya. And what a performance, Eric Ten Hag, man of the match, says Dasbo. Well, look, I want to do the player ratings. I wanted to start on a positive, of course. The Butcher slaughtered Kane tonight. Also, Casemiro price tag looks fair now, says Stev. Well, it's not just Martinez. I think Martinez pocketed Kane and Varane pocketed Son because they played with the front two. I put a jokey tweet out saying when's Son back from injury because they really missed him tonight. So if you want to do the whole Martinez pocketed Kane because Martinez is the one that everyone loves at the moment. Well, I'd say Varane pocketed Son. I can't split them. I thought they both played fantastic. Casemiro is an animal. Absolutely unreal, says Wayne. Again, the only thing I would say negative about Casemiro is what a lot of people probably agree with. Why did we not get him in the team sooner? To me, it just seems really Bossamiro, says Dave. I just think we should have probably got him into the team a little bit earlier, but it doesn't massively matter. But I'm going to move towards this Ronaldo thing because I think I have to acknowledge it. Zer says Rashford man of the match. Funnily enough, I don't think Rashford will be man of the match, but we will go through player ratings. A few people talking about Ronaldo. I do want to talk about Ronaldo, but I just want to say as well, whether Ronaldo plays or Ronaldo doesn't play, don't talk bollocks about we can't play like that with Ronaldo or Rashford because ultimately United pressed as a team today. And people say, well, you can't press if your forward doesn't press. Bullshit. You can't press if your whole team doesn't press. Time and time again, we've seen Bruno running all over the place like a one-man band. Today, we pressed really, really well. It was a brave press, and it was probably something that you haven't seen from United. But I noticed in the watch-along, a lot of people were acknowledging the fact that Fred was almost like a striker. He wasn't a striker. We were pressing as a team. And when you press as a team, you've got to press as a team. And what you might have noticed in the first half is that time and time again, Spurs couldn't pass out from the edge of their box. There was no pass. It was like what Liverpool used to do a year ago with Klopp at Anfield. You literally couldn't get out. And if you hit a long ball, their centre-backs are just going to gobble it up. Like Spurs just couldn't retain possession. And the reason they couldn't do that, and I'd actually say the 2 most important players in the press today weren't Rashford, Anthony, Bruno, Sancho. It was Casemiro and Fred, because they were brave enough to go and join that front four and basically close out any passing lane. And that's why we won the ball. Very rarely was it Martinez, Delot, Shaw or Varane winning the ball back, because Spurs couldn't get that high. They couldn't get to the halfway line, which is where they were. We were winning the ball back just behind Bruno, about 5 metres behind Bruno, with Fred or Casemiro. They were that high up the pitch. And that intense press today basically was because of Fred. Like, it might have worked with Eriksen. I don't think McTominay's capable of it. The Fred selection today allowed us to press, monster press, basically. And look, Rashford was part of it. Bruno was part of it. Anthony was part of it. Sancho was part of it. And Casemiro was definitely part of it. But Fred was the one that really just went beyond Bruno at times. And we just cut the passing lanes down. And that's how you press as a team. Liverpool didn't press because they had Firmino as a number 9 or Jota as a number 9. That didn't really make a lot of difference. It was about the whole team. And if you watch that first half back, the high line is in place, but it's Fred with Casemiro just a bit behind him, pushing close to Bruno, allowing it to become a front 5. Because you've got Rashford, Sancho, Anthony, Bruno, Fred. And it was basically a 1-4. And then Casemiro in behind. They just couldn't pass through it. It was an intelligent, training ground plan specific press. And it was focal, and Fred was the focal point, and it worked really well. Amazon really trying to push the Ronaldo story. Thierry and Henry having none of it, says McElvis. I don't know it. I want to talk about the Ronaldo thing, but I don't know the true story. Like, he might have gone for I don't know. It's a bit like when he left last time. Everyone was like, Ronaldo's a disgrace, and then another story came out. Now, that is a Man United entertaining game, says Adam. Start Eriksen this weekend instead of Bruno. Keep Fred instead, says Matthew. I think Fred's got to... Hey, you know what, Matthew? I'm all... We're going to do the player ratings in a minute, but I'm all for sticking with the positive story before we talk about the negative story. I think Fred's got to play on Saturday, because I think it was... I've just spent 2 minutes saying how that was fundamental to what we did. If we want to play... And look, we're going away from home. I don't think we'll play the same way. But if we want to suppress... And look, to be honest with you... Well, let's not live in La La Land. Are we going to go to Stamford Bridge and suffocate Chelsea on the edge of their own box? We're not. We're away from home. So straight away, we're not going to do it. But if we were playing Chelsea at home on Saturday night, I would say, do the same again. You've got to play Fred. If we want to play the same way we did tonight against Chelsea at Stamford Bridge, which I don't think we can, you'd play Fred again. But maybe that'll be the get out. I disagree with Ronaldo comments. He wanted to leave in the summer and it's not fair on him, but we should have let him go and got Pakpo in. Big win tonight, says Leo. It's not that we can't play with Ronaldo. It's just that this very annoying thing we do when we play where we always try and force passes to him, says Kelly. Souness and Carragher in the mud saying Martinez was too small, says FIFA Crazy. Isn't it weird how fickle we are as fans? Now I'm asking myself, can Eriksen do what Fred did? Rory, I think we will play a different way against Chelsea, and probably Fred will have a bad game. We'll have to play a little bit better on the ball. I just think that that press was just very, very, very specific to this game, and we'll have to just wait and see. But I thought it was very good. I really want to get into the match reaction. Sorry, the player rating. So make sure you do mark them all out of 10, 6 being the average. Look, I think. Look, let me talk about the Ronaldo thing. So, if you didn't see it, Ronaldo has walked off down the tunnel before the end of the game. That's pretty much established because it's visual. I just want to say from the very offset that, and there are some quotes coming in from Ten Hag, so maybe we'll get an answer about it. It is absolutely unacceptable, and I am not going to be a hypocrite. The biggest... forget Ten Hag, forget Solskjaer, forget Rangnick, forget Rashford, Ronaldo, forget David Beckham, Gary Neville, Wayne Rooney, Cristiano Ronaldo, anybody. Manchester United is bigger than anybody. And I hate the fact that the Glazers own Manchester United because I don't feel that they do own Manchester United. Manchester United goes beyond ownership. Manchester United is the biggest thing. It's bigger than me, you, anybody else. It's whatever Manchester United means to you. And Manchester United means to me, getting home from school, primary school, and my granddad's there. He's finished his work at, he used to run his own business as a bricklayer, and it's a dark autumn night, and he's sat there having his soup, and I'm sat there watching videos of Manchester United on VHS, watching George Best and Duncan Edwards and all these videos and this magical football club. That's what Manchester United is to me. So when somebody, doesn't matter who we're playing, how we've played, who the manager is, who's on the pitch, whether I agree with it or not, do I think Ronaldo was treated badly by Ten Hag tonight? I think it's a power struggle. I said it during the watch along. I think we've got a power struggle going on. And I don't like it because Ronaldo is a legend. He was the player of the year last year and he was the top scorer last year. And Ten Hag is basically sitting on the bench to say, I'm the boss. And I understand that, but I don't get why we've got to this point. Ronaldo should have been allowed to go. Ten Hag was happy for him to go, but Man United dug their feet in wanting money for him. So that's fine. So basically, there was offers for Ronaldo, but Man United, but people wanted him for free because his wages are so big. Ten Hag was happy to let him go as long as he got a replacement. And basically, the Glazers said, well, we're not buying Ten Hag a replacement when we're not getting any money for Ronaldo, so we're not doing the deal. People might agree with that. But then you end up with Ronaldo who doesn't want to be here and Ten Hag who wants him to go. And that's why having owners of the football club who are not business people and football people would be much preferable because, fine, the Glazers can say we're not selling him because no one will give us any money and we're not spending on a striker, so we're keeping him. But Ten Hag clearly doesn't want to use him anymore. Ronaldo doesn't want to be here anymore. And now we've got this circus. And whose fault is it? Is it Ronaldo's, who's not playing? One of the world's greatest ever players, top scorer last year, player of the year, not being picked, basically feels he's being humiliated and disrespected, whether you agree with that or not. Ten Hag, who's like, I'm the boss, I'm trying to build a future, you don't want to be part of the future, so I'm not picking you. That's the situation. Whoever you agree with, or whether you're 50-50, that's the situation. You can understand Ten Hag's position, and I can understand Ronaldo's situation. You won't sell me, but then you won't play me. What's that all about? But then Ten Hag's like, you don't want to be here, and I don't want to build a team with you anyway. So it's just, it's a mess, and it's a pantomime anyway. And tonight, I've never known, and some people might, I've never known a sub walk off and say, I've had enough. It's a massive statement. And it's just a mess. It's a mess, and it will become a mess. And Ronaldo is completely out of order. I'm not going to defend it. That is disrespectful. I don't care. Maybe he's pissed off with the Glazers for not selling him. But you've disrespected the manager. You've disrespected your teammates. You've disrespected the club. And that's never a good look. So I understand he's probably bubbling up inside with the situation. Imagine being one of the world's greatest players, player of the year, top goal scorer, and then suddenly you're being disrespected and sat on the bench. And yet, apparently, they don't want to sell you. So I understand it. You're dealing with a very, very big football ego there. But more importantly, I just don't know where we go from here. I don't know where we go from here because that is a massive statement from Ronaldo. Ten Hag's got to react to it. He can't pick him. Ten Hag's already not picking him. He's already saying, I'm not picking you. He's already sat him down for 90 minutes and said, I'm not picking you, even though Rashford's missing chance after chance after chance. So it can only get worse for Ronaldo now because there'll be fans that turn on him. Ten Hag is not the sort of manager that's going to go, I'm really sorry, you can start now. So he ain't going to be playing against Chelsea. It just gets worse and worse. And I think basically, I would imagine that Ronaldo, with 3 weeks till we break up for the World Cup, I don't think Ronaldo will hardly play at all. I think he'll go to the World Cup. And then I think he'll have to be sold in January. To which I would say, and I think most of you would say, why did it have to end like that? Why did we have to have Ten Hag versus Ronaldo when the club, if it was a football club, would have just solved this instead of going, you're the new manager, you're our best player, you're not going, we're not selling him for you, fuck off and publicly fall out because we don't want to make a decision. And that's just, for me, it's just another example of how not to run a football club because nobody had the balls to actually make a difficult decision. And it always comes down to money. Ultimately, it comes down to money. Ten Hag was happy for Ronaldo to go if he got a replacement, quite right. And Ronaldo wanted to go. But the Glazers have gone, no, we want money for Ronaldo and we're not buying you a new player. And then you end up with this absolute PR nightmare when we've just played fantastically well. So, look, in clarity, I absolutely do not agree with what Cristiano Ronaldo has done. I think it's disrespectful. And I think we need to focus on the positives of what we've achieved tonight as a football team and under our manager that we all wanted. But I think it's a situation that was probably inevitable when you've got a power struggle going on between two big personalities, and Ronaldo feels that he's being disrespected. And Ten Hag has acknowledged it, and he has said, I will deal with that tomorrow. So look, I really hope that we don't get to a situation where fans are falling out with each other, because ultimately I think we all have to accept it's unacceptable what Ronaldo has done. There's part of me that understands it. I've got to say, I'm a petulant person, so I would be fucking fuming. I would be fuming. I think you'd be fuming. Put yourself in Ronaldo's shoes, you would. But you've just got to sit in your seat and not do it publicly. And that's where he's gone wrong. But I understand him being angry. I do understand him being angry. And I think most of us do understand him being angry, but don't storm off down the tunnel a few minutes before. If he leaves in January, at least 6 months Ronaldo wages covers 33% of Gakpo fee, says Rory C. De Gea looks much better passing from the back, says United 25. Ronaldo may have wanted to go, but the only club that wanted him was in the Middle East. That's bullshit. Give it to Milky. I don't know why this myth keeps coming around. Like Roy Keane even said it the other day. This bullshit that nobody wanted him. Clubs wanted him. They didn't want to pay a fee for him. It's a very different thing. They did. There was 4 clubs in the Champions League that wanted Cristiano Ronaldo, but they wanted him on a free because of his wages. Now, United have gone, no. And some of you would agree, well, why should we let him go for free? Because we're not fucking picking him anyway. Explain that to me. You want a fee for Ronaldo, or he's not going, but you're paying him 500 grand a week to sit on the bench. Like, it doesn't make sense. We should have let him go for free. In hindsight, I never thought it was going to go like this. I didn't think Ten Hag was going to be sitting him on the bench and not playing him. So we should have let him go for free. Of course we should. It's not that we can't play with it. I've done that one. I'm happy for United, but Ronaldo, free Ronaldo, says Alas. And the club manager and teammates have disrespected him for almost a season and a half now. Glad he walked off. When he leaves and you're stuck with Rashford, who can't score, it will serve you well, says Stuart Walker. If he leaves in January, at least that's Rory as well. We've done that one from United 25. Ronaldo, okay, we've done that one. It shouldn't be a power struggle. Ten Hag is the manager and his decision should be absolute. There's no if, buts or maybes. His decision. We always won't agree with his selected team, but that's normal, says Kelly. It's not like that though, Kelly, is it? What's he supposed to sit and do? Like, he's being completely ignored. Like, he's not even bringing him on in games. So I don't think he's 37 years of age. He's one of the best players that's ever played the game. What is he supposed to do? Like, it's very clear that Ten Hag doesn't want to use him. So why is he even here? I get it is a power struggle whether you like it or not. We can't let this become about Ronaldo, says Charlie. The club have treated him appallingly, says Admin. Leaks stories and not allowing him to leave. He's forcing his move. Fair enough, says Admin. Yeah, it's the beginning of the end now. Wano, welcome to the Members Club. Even if he is a legend, he should respect. I'm not agree with what he did, says Michelle. Credit where it's due. Our midfield and defence nullified them, says Ashia. And Ronaldo knows exactly what he's done. He's very publicly aware. It's the last... Shahir, I'm not going to dress it up any other way. There's no coming back from that. I don't... Somebody will probably be able to give me another example, but in a United game at Old Trafford, have we ever had a big player storm off down like that when we're playing really well with 5 minutes to go? It's a very public disrespect of the fans, the players and the manager. Ten Hag's going to say, I'm going to deal with that tomorrow. I'll tell you for free. The way that gets dealt with tomorrow, Ten Hag's going to tell him off and he's going to go, fuck off. In a nice way, he's going to go, so what? What are you going to do to me? I'm going to the World Cup in 3 weeks' time. I'll be playing in the World Cup in 3 weeks' time. And you're going to be paying me 500 grand a week. And you can fine me a little bit if you want, but I'm going to the World Cup. You don't pick me for the World Cup. And then when I come back in January, what are you going to do? You're going to keep paying me? I will turn up, I will train, and you will pay me 500 grand a week. And, what are we going to do about it? And I think that's the shame. It's just going to disintegrate. It is. And I am in no way defending this. I've never said I'm defending this. I'm not. But the situation is not going to get... When a player storms down off the pitch with 5 minutes to go, when you're winning 2-0 and playing really well, it's a long walk. It's a long walk to get up and walk off. He could have looked like he was going to have. He could have got halfway there and gone, I'm having a bit of a jog, and come back and just warming up. He's made the decision to do that. He's thought it through in his head, and he knows the consequences. That's it. It's over. Maybe it was already over. I don't know. Maybe just something snapped with Ronaldo. But when you get up and walk down that tunnel from the halfway line on Old Trafford, if you've been on a stadium tour, it's a big walk. And at every step, you're thinking, I can walk back. And he doesn't. So don't be thinking, oh, Ten Hag's going to sort him out now. I don't think Ronaldo will give a shit. I think he knows he's just basically dropped the bomb. And I don't know whether we'll see him play for Man United again. I really don't see what happens from here, because he's made a very public statement of fuck you. He has. I love Ronaldo, but he's made a very big statement of fuck you, as far as I'm concerned, unless there's a real story that we don't know what it is. He's out of order, it's completely disrespectful, and it never should have got to this. And my frustration is, because I love Ronaldo, he's a legend of the club, but I can't defend him for that, so I have to blame somebody, and obviously I blame Ronaldo, but why did it get to this point where a player snaps like that and does something stupid like that? And that is because, for me, and I don't know why people have a problem with this, because I never stop hearing about Glazers out. This is just another sample of how fucking shit this club is from a structural point of view. It's a shambles. And how fair is it on Ten Hag? He's trying to rebuild a club from ground zero with this well, not even ground zero, from the basement. And the club loaded a problem to him. He already had 100 things to sort out, and then they fuck him up with the Ronaldo problem. I mean, all they needed to do was move Ronaldo on. And he would never have this problem. And now, new manager, who's trying to find consistency with the players, is having to deal with that as well. What a horrible job for Ten Hag to have to deal with, because the club have loaded it onto him. So, I don't know. Let's do the player ratings anyway. Mark every player out of 10. Bring it back to a positive, Goldbridge. It was a fantastic Manchester United performance, and we do need to focus on that. I'm sure the Ronaldo thing will run, and I'm sure we'll be talking about it on the morning show as well. Right, let's go. Player ratings. Okay, let's go. Make sure you smash a like on the video and subscribe, by the way. We're very close to 511,000. Petulant twats in the chat. Ratings, can you do the ratings? I tell you what, I'm going to talk more about Ronaldo for 5 more minutes, because guess what? I want to. I'll do the ratings when I want to do it. Don't start on at me about Ronaldo for the first 10 minutes when I'm trying to be positive about the result today, and then when I talk about it, you start going ratings. I'll dictate when I talk about the ratings. Understand who's in control of this. I can stop the stream and start it whenever I like. Power bridge. Anyway, we're going to do the ratings anyway. So I would go with David De Gea. I'm going to go with a 7 for me. Yes, high five. I think we're going to get a lot right here. So look, I don't think he made fantastic saves today, but the distribution, long range, short range, there's a lot of people out there that need to just say, hold on a minute, I'm going to give him some credit, because I've always backed De Gea. And I've had loads of people saying he can't do this, he can't do that. And I knew he could. With coaching, I knew he could. If Delo can improve, De Gea can improve, and he did. And I'm also going to give Delo a 7 today. 7.3. 7.3. I think Delo has had a fantastic start to the season. And then I think he dropped off a bit. And then I thought today he was good. And I always feel that with De Gea, Delo, welcome to Members Club, Amir. I always feel that with De Gea, the drop-off was because he's been overplayed. You can't account for how tired he must be playing 3 games a week. And he's going to have to do it again. He played Thursday night, he played Sunday, he's playing tonight, and he's playing Saturday. He's going to play 4 90-minute games in 9 days. Again, let me just repeat. I mentioned it about Ronaldo. This club is run terribly. Where is the alternative right back? Plugged says no manager in his right mind is going to tolerate that. No. We'll be talking more about that tomorrow, but yeah, you're right. Varane for me, again, 7.5 I was going to say. I can't do 0.5s. I thought Varane, and I'll do them as a pair. I think Varane and Martinez, 7.5 for me as well, 7.7 for you. I mean, Martinez always gets a little bit more because he's more fashionable than Varane. I think Varane's a better centre-back than Martinez, but they're both a fantastic... In fact, you know what? Scrub that. I don't differentiate. I've always said this. A centre-back is the only place on the pitch now where a partnership exists. Used to have two midfielders, two centre-forwards, Shearer and Sheringham, Cole and York. You don't get that anywhere else. The only place where a partnership exists now is at centre-back. And the only reason it still exists, because the game evolves, is because a centre-back partnership is only as good as the two players. It's not about the individual. And I think Varane and Martinez, and let's not forget, statistically as well, welcome to the Members Club, by the way, Arv. Statistically as well, we've only conceded hardly any goals. One goal in the last 3 games. Man City smacked us up, but Varane got injured after 1 goal had gone in, by the way. So don't forget that. They are superb as a pairing. They complement each other so well. We can't be got at in the air. We can't be got at on the ground. And we can't be got at for pace. They are absolutely perfect. And the only thing that I've ever said is fitness. Fitness is the only thing you can concern yourself. Absolutely brilliant. Centre-back pairing. They need to keep doing it. But we've potentially got a centre-back pairing there that we could start talking about really high. And we've not had a centre-back pairing like that for a decade. Luke Shaw was a 7 for me today, and it's great to see that the back 5 are getting appreciation. I mean, I thought Luke Shaw had done reasonably well since he came in from Malaysia, but I think today it was another step up. And I've always been a big fan of Luke Shaw, but I've always been realistic when he dropped off. And he dropped off after that Euros. And last season was terrible for him. But we're starting to see Luke Shaw rediscovering his form. He's got to get more. I mean, he nearly scored a great goal as well. What a save by Lloris. But it was a good, steady performance from both fullbacks today. And they whipped in some good crosses as well. Unfortunately, nobody was there. It's so weird. We haven't got the number 9 on who's good in the air, and we start whipping crosses in. But, you know, they did well today. Casemiro, for me, was an 8. I don't know who I'm going to give man of the match to. Casemiro, look, I'm running out of superlatives for Casemiro. He's on the ball so much. That blistering bullet shot he hit with his left foot. He's on the ball. He's getting close to the goal. Creativity, his defensive shielding of the back 4. I mean, for me, I've said it so many times. I'm boring myself, but I'm not. I've said it on the United stand. I never thought we would sign Casemiro. And whenever you talk about we need a CDM, we would say we need somebody like a Casemiro. We need the next Casemiro. We've got Casemiro playing in our midfield. Now, I don't know how we did the deal. I don't know why we did the deal. I think it was desperation. I think we probably overpaid a bit. But fucking hell. I mean, you know, if there was any doubt amongst anybody, the only doubt I had is why he didn't get put in the team any sooner. You know, did Ten Hag really want him? I don't know. But fucking hell, what a player. He's just world class, and he was world class again. And Everton, Newcastle, and tonight, so much of those results are about Casemiro. And I still don't think he's fully there. I still think he's dusting off the rust. You know, Fred's got to be an 8 for me tonight as well. I think he was fundamental. Look, Fred's Fred. His shooting's a bit shit. Sometimes his passing's a bit shit. But there are sometimes games where you go, that's why he's a professional footballer. That's why he plays for Brazil. And tonight, he showed it. Now, whether he does it for the next 3 games, he'll probably go back to being shit Fred again. But that doesn't mean you can't give him some praise. And I've already said it anyway. I thought Fred was fantastic tonight, but I also think he was fundamentally the one important player that made our press so good. Because a proper press is the whole team. And he was the one that really stopped Spurs getting out. It was a power press, and he was fantastic. I think Bruno was brilliant today as well. Look, you know, Bruno has quite rightly had a lot of criticism. He's been ridiculously average, I would say. Some people would say poor. He's been ridiculously average for a long time. But tonight, and he was very unlucky not to get a second goal. Tonight, Bruno did what I knew he was going to do. Like, he's a very good player, and at some point it's going to come good. Consistency is the problem. I would throw Fred into the Bruno category and Bruno into the Fred category. Look, they played really well tonight, and I'm more than happy to give them the praise. But we know at United, can they do it next game? And that's going to be the thing. Consistency is the thing that Ten Hag will be hoping for, because this needs to be the kickstart for Bruno. That's probably his best performance in 6 months. And I know he's quite good against Arsenal, but that's his best performance in 6 months for me. It can't drop off again. he's got to sustain that level, because the player he is should be sustaining that level. So I hope it's a kickstart for Bruno, because he was really, really good. And I think he still can be better. Anthony, for me, was brilliant as well. I'm going to give him an 8. I'm surprised it dropped off. Maybe his performance in the second half dropped off. But that was Anthony's best performance for me, and he didn't score. I thought he had them on strings. I thought it's the first game I've really seen him run at people, which is a massive part of his game that we've not seen. I almost feel with Anthony, he's been playing within himself a bit. You know, probably doing the simple things, adjusting to the league. And I think today was the first game where he really sort of went through the gears a bit and let himself off the lead a little bit, and ran at people, and was, you know, there was mistakes, of course, but, you know, there's more to, he's a very good crosser of the ball. We've not really seen that yet. He is skillful. He can get past the player. And we saw a glimpse of that today. So I thought Anthony was very good. I would have given him an 8. Sancho was a 6. Yeah, I mean, look, he wasn't bad. I don't agree that anybody played badly. I just think that so many of the team were above average and good, and I thought Sancho was average. I mean, he ended up with an assist at the end of the day. He wasn't bad. Like, I would not have people saying Sancho was bad. I just think he was pretty average today. I don't think he was as good as other players, but, you know, hopefully he can build on that. And I suppose that's the interesting thing. If you are an Anthony Martial or an Elanga or a Ronaldo, you'd go, Sancho wasn't that good against Newcastle, and he wasn't that good today. Rashford wasn't that good against Newcastle, and he wasn't that good today. And yet they're playing, you know, they're getting picked. But maybe Ten Hag is looking at these players and going, they're my future. And Rashford for me would be a 6. And I'm glad that nobody's marked him down massively, because I thought he was lively. I just still don't think he's a number 9, by the way. I still think Rashford's best position, and hopefully if we could get a fit Martial, we would see this. I still think Rashford's playing up front because Martial's injured. I do not think he's a number 9. We put lots of good crosses into the box and he was never there. But he's still a chance magnet. He still gets chances because of that explosive pace and skill that he's got. And he should have scored again. I mean, effectively, he missed 2 sitters, didn't he? One at the weekend as well. He missed a few on Thursday. But he will start to score goals, because you can't keep missing that amount of sitters every game. He will start scoring goals. And he had I think if he'd scored 2 or 3 goals today, he'd be up there with everybody else. But he didn't. You know, he was a bit, you know, he should have scored. But I don't think he had a bad game. I heard people calling him Trashford again. I don't think he had a bad game. I think he was a problem for Spurs. But I much prefer him on the left wing. Scott McTominay would be a 6 for me. Didn't really do anything wrong. Same with Eriksen. Same with Elanga. And then that leaves us with our man. You know what his name is. His name's Ten Hag. It's Eric Ten Hag. So I would say Eric Ten Hag tonight deserves a very high score. He was very, very good. As I said, the Fred selection, nobody would have done it. He did it. I love that sort of I'm the boss mentality. I know what's best, and he bloody well did know what's best. The way that we played, it's the best performance we've had under Eric Ten Hag. We created loads of chances. The press, which was led by Fred, was so intense. Look, I would say the only slight fly in the ointment would be that I've seen Spurs a few times this season, and Arsenal did the same to them as well. They're not that good. They've been grinding results out, playing badly. So Spurs were ripe for that, and I'd be very interested to see what we do on Saturday. But that shouldn't take anything away. It's an 8 for me, and it's an 8 from you, Ten Hag. So who are we going to go with man of the match? Well, I suppose I've got to pick mine first of all. And people are all over the place, but you know what? For me, it's probably I'm going to go with Casemiro again, just to be boring. I'm just going to go with Casemiro. I think he's class. I really do. There we go. We got it right. Make sure you smash a like on the video. We got it right. Casemiro got 31% of the vote. Funnily enough, Martinez was second with 19%, and then it's selected others like Varane, Fred, and Delot in 5th place. So there you go. But Casemiro gets it with 31%. I just think he's ridiculously consistent. Bossamiro, we're calling him, aren't we? I think he was fantastic. And I think United were fantastic. And I want to finish it on that positive, because I think we've been craving these sort of performances. And can I just say, look, I know how the world works. People want to crave and chase the big story. And the big story is Ronaldo. But please try and focus on that performance tonight, because the players deserve it, the manager deserves it, and we deserve it. That's one of the better performances and most entertaining performances I've seen at Old Trafford in a long time. That could be the spark and glimpse of where we're going. If we can play like that at home for most of our games and press and exhaust the opposition and create chance after chance after chance, that's Manchester United. That's the positive for me. That's what I want to focus on. The Ronaldo thing, we'll be talking about it tomorrow, I'm sure. The Ronaldo thing, we'll be talking about it on the fan forum, I'm sure. But you've got to make your own decision about that. I personally think the club have handled it terribly, and it's become a power struggle that neither person's going to want to lose. And ultimately, it just derails what we're trying to do. And I'm very pissed off with what Ronaldo's done, but I'm more pissed off with the way the club handled this, because they basically said, you're not going, you're not getting a new striker, get on with it. And this was always going to happen. You've got one of the world's greatest players and a new manager who's trying to stamp his authority. It's a power struggle, and it was always going to go like this. And the club are irresponsible. They should be running a football club and not a bloody business club. But the most important thing is that Man United won and we were fantastic today. Let's get over to the fan forum. I'm sure they'll be talking about Ronaldo. You can carry that on there and all the good positive stuff. Make sure you smash a like on the video on this one and subscribe. I'll see you over on the fan forum.